name's Cartwright. I'm one of the sales engineers at Cloudhealth by VmWare. Just going to be covering, more or less optimizing cloud performance and cost controls within Cloudhealth. And then specifically, when the focus comes to multi-cloud, a perfect example of that is one of our customers, ZipWhip. So you can go ahead to the next slide, please. So just a quick overview, who we are as a company, the cloud management challenges that we face, cloud management maturity framework, so where you are along the way, and some best practices. You can go to the next slide. Excellent. So Cloudhealth by VmWare is currently the market leader in the cloud space from a management standpoint. We currently hold over $11 billion in assets across all our customers' clouds. So you can see those quick specs there. 48% are in a single cloud. You've got 52 that are in a hybrid or a multi-cloud setup, and then 9% are roughly spread across more than 3 clouds or public hybrid. So you have the examples down at the bottom: AWS, Azure, GCP, Oracle, and then VMC or VMware Cloud Foundation. You can go to the next slide, please. Excellent. So the promise is, really what we're after achieving. So the goal, is to improve speed of the service and delivery, flexibility to react to changes in the market, and then improving customer support or services. And then I think this is a build, so if you click, it should show the bottom half. Perfect. And then in the reality, sometimes people do overshoot their cloud IaaS budget, accidentally expose data or services, and they don't always optimize cloud workloads. And so that's something that we set out to help some of our customers achieve and solve. You can go to the next slide, please. Excellent. So in terms of financial services, IT complexity is constantly increasing. So this little chart down on the left shows the number of applications in an environment. On average for a company, is increasing over time. And so we see, roughly today on average from a Forrester report, we saw roughly 4 and change applications running on average. And in the next 3 years, we're anticipating that to almost double. So you could see to 7, or in this case, 59% increase. So keep that in mind if that's something that relates to you. Go to the next slide.
And one other thing I just want to point out is even though this slide specifies financial services, in my experience, and I'm sure Graham would agree with this, it is true in most industries, if not more complexity.
Absolutely. So the multi-cloud management vision from Cloudhealth really breaks down into these 3 main pillars. So we have financial management, which can be understanding your cost measures or related areas of savings, planning, budgeting, keeping an eye on anything financially related. Operational governance, so anything from right sizing, under provisioned, or instances that could be more appropriately fit. And then from a security and compliance framework, when we're looking at any kind of security frameworks such as AWS best practices or Center for Internet Security. And so more or less we integrate with perspectives, policies, automated actions across the 3 of those. And then we have that integrated data layer, which connects us to IaaS, containers, and PaaS. So again, you have the various clouds down at the bottom, but the goal is to strengthen all 3 of those in your understanding from a management standpoint. So you can go to the next slide. All right, so this one sort of aligns to that last one, but this is more from a looking back on your own company, where you're at from a maturity standpoint. And so our maturity model focuses on those 3, again, pillars of financial management, operation, and security and compliance. So in the initial stages, not in any particular order, a lot of folks will focus on visibility. Oh, go ahead.
No, nothing. What's that?
Okay. No, I thought I heard a question or some feedback. So visibility, optimization, governance and security or automation, and then business integration. So a quick overview of some of the reports that you'll see right when you log into the platform are the ability to break down cost measures by a specific category, whether that's service items, a custom tag that you've built out or off of a naming schema, and then you can begin to filter that information to make helpful business decisions to understand where you're spending most of your money, if there's a cost increase, or allocating down to the cent within a particular group. You can go to the next slide. Perfect. This is another dashboard. This one's particular called the Health Check Pulse Report. This one gives you a nice overview of any low-hanging fruit or possible optimizations, anywhere from immediate cost savings with unused EBS volumes. In this case, you can see we have about $1,000 in this particular sandbox that we have running. You've got that cloud governance standpoint where we can see anything that's untagged or hasn't been allocated to one of those perspectives, as I mentioned before. And then you can't see them because they're further down below on the screen from this screenshot, but the ability to look at right-sizing existing resources or taking advantage of reservations or savings plans, whether you're in AWS, Azure, GCP. You can go to the next slide, please. On the policy and governance standpoint, there's a lot more that you can do, outside of just the financial aspects, but this is a good example based off of a billing statement that we collected. You can set a conditional statement basically to say that if the cost increase is greater than 20% in a week or 7-day period, then we want some sort of action to take place. In this case, we have that going off to an email, but you could set up an integration with Slack or a couple of different automations to take place depending on the condition. It can be anything from looking at an instance size, whether it's tagged properly, if you wanted something to start, stop, reboot, or delete. So you can get pretty customizable with the actions. You can go to the next slide. These are just some of the personas that we deal with. Really, the main message to convey on this slide is just that we're there to connect all of the different members of your team to align on business goals, KPIs, and really improve or embed into your CCOE strategy. You can go to the next slide. All right, so in terms of ZipWhip, if you're not familiar with ZipWhip, they're a company based in Seattle. Very cool, check them out. Telecommunications. So their whole, challenge that they were faced with was that they were a multi-cloud company, and they had a big migration coming up. So they were spread across, or planning to move to both AWS and Azure. So when you have that multi-cloud challenge, being able to flip between the two different native tools sometimes is an additional step for the team, the learning curve of the different solutions that are out there. And so being able to consolidate that all into one location and having that multi-cloud environment based on how you want things to be configured, and as I referred to before, as those perspectives, it should really help to align to what you're looking to see from a business standpoint. So, by introducing Cloudhealth, just looking at some of the results down below, we're able to help them migrate 90% of their infrastructure to the cloud within a 9-month period, which is phenomenal because that's, less than a year. Huge migration for them. They were able to gain, complete visibility and can now analyze what, servers versus containers while aligning those costs to their revenue. And then from a security and compliance standpoint, we do also have a secure state product, which was also achieved with this opportunity, where they were able to secure and detect any vulnerabilities and threats that came up. And the key part there is that it's at real-time speed. You can read the quote over there on the right from Colby, who is one of our main point of contacts. He was the platform operations architect. So definitely take a look into ZipWhip. Definitely a cool company, and they were able to achieve most of their business goals by going with us. You can go to the next slide. I think it's just a question slide. Oh, okay. So from a maturity assessment model, that first couple slides there that I showed you, if you head over to cloudhealthtech.com, we can help get you a maturity assessment. You can get an understanding of where you'd fit into the picture and if we'd be a good fit for you.